Hello friend, it's Mark out on the back 40, and yesterday we received our annual Easter time present. I love this time of year because we get to start planting some trees and shrubs. I hope you guys had a chance to get this stuff on order. I ordered this back in December. So what are we planting this year? Well, you can see right here we've got 100 streamco willows to thicken up the reed canary grass area. We've got 25 red osier dogwood, kind of the same thing, a little bit of a browsing plot for that kind of stuff. They love to eat that stuff. Got 10 crabapple trees. So what we're doing with that is we're going to put a couple around each blind and then up around the house. And then down here, we have got 100 white cedars and 100 white pines. So these guys are for more of the dry areas. I'm working on screening here. I'll go show you and talk about it, and we'll go plant these things. Just in case you haven't done this before, I'll go through this super quick. This is a bare rootstock. So what happens when you order it from the nursery, it comes exactly what they say. You might be used to going to Lowe's or Home Depot and you see the things in a pot. You could buy these in a pot too, but then it's hard to ship. So you can buy these from almost anywhere. They throw it in a box with some plastic around it, and boom, here you go. 25, decent size whips to throw on the ground. So I'm just going to pop these apart. And if you haven't done bare rootstock before, notice the water in the bucket. You have to keep these roots wet. If the roots dry out, if you leave it out even for sometimes half an hour, depending on the weather, and they dry out, the roots will die. And what do dead roots do? Yeah, they kill the plant. so that's why I got the water here. And so what I'm going to do with these are the dogwoods though. I've showed you this pond a bunch of different times. I'm trying to thicken it up around here, and you can see it's starting to work. This is some of the stuff that I cut last year. But if you go over into that spot over in here, it's still kind of open. It is getting thicker, but I'm going to throw some of these dogwoods in there. They like low, wet areas. Those grow in dry areas too, but they really like the low, wet stuff. And they get little white berries on them for the birds. The deer love to eat the browse on them, so hopefully these things make it before the deer eat it. But that's my plan here. I'm going to throw those out there. I'm going to throw a couple around each blind because they're really dark red and pretty to look at against the snow, and birds get on them. It's really cool to see. So that's the dogwoods. Let's go. Maybe we should play a game here. Let's play the game. What's wrong with what I'm going to show you here? So I've showed you this before. That's our west blind right there. And then a shooting lane through there. And then this is the food plot where we do a lot of experiments. So I'm just going to turn around here a little bit and just look that way. What's wrong with this area? To me, it's too open. And I think to you, it's too open. There's just too much space that deer will not feel comfortable walking around here in daylight. Remember, the goal is always mature bucks walking around the property in daylight, or I guess hunting hours, whatever you want to say. But so I'm walking you over here. Tom Petty had a song with a line, "The waiting is the hardest part," and that's where I am right now. Because over the last few years, I have been planting a lot of stuff in here to thicken this up. So here's an example. Like, you can't hardly see it right now, but when I get really close to it, this right here, this is a streamco willow. And you can see there's one right here, there's one right there, there's one right there, and there's a whole line of them. If I get like this, maybe you can see there's a whole line that goes way down to that big dead tree way down there. There's a line that goes all the way down there. But doggone it, why do I have to wait? I don't like waiting. Let's see, yeah, over here. This year, I planted some cedars, like right in here. So again, you just gotta wait for them. Oh, doesn't it drive you crazy? Like, I want this done now so I get more deer movement out here during daylight hours, but it's just not gonna happen. You just gotta wait. Yeah, you can see I've got some more line of streamco willows right there and a line behind that. Yeah, so there's stuff planted in here. It just is gonna take time for it to grow. I just have to wait, and you have to do the same thing. Unfortunately, if you got a big open area, this is dominated by reed canary grass, and it looks great in the summertime because it's tall. But like right now, this is like late March, It's just wide open. Okay, so what is wrong here? Yeah, same thing. This is just the other side of the big opening that we were way over on the other side earlier in the video. Now I'm down closer here where the pond is. You know, the big buck used to bed right here. He likes that side of it, but he doesn't like this side of it. And so we've been trying to get regenerational growth going in here. So I've sprayed clethodim in here a couple of times to try to kill out this reed canary grass, which does it for a little bit, but then it still keeps coming back. So I'm planting streamco willows in here, and you can see I just put a line. Yeah, yesterday I planted all these. See this one? Look at these buggers. They took the top. Look at that. I can't get it to focus. They already nipped the top of this off. Anyways, 2 days, 1 day. There's one. Here's one. Oh, buggers. And it goes all the way to that big stump. There's like a whole line of them right here. So I'm trying to break up their site from out here, you know, to maybe this way for a little bit. And I've got a bunch of streamcoats planted all over throughout there, all throughout here. So patience, Mark, patience. Eventually it'll thicken up and it'll be to the point where a mature buck or deer in general will be able to move around in there during daylight. I mean, you can see that they move around in here probably at night. I'm guessing that's when it is. Because look, there's a rub on this tree right here. I just saw that. Probably from that big dog Janice got. But we're getting that all filled in. And 5 years from now, it'll be completely different out here. I'm hoping that this will be a good bedding area with all this grass and young growth. If it's dry, because a lot of times it's wet. But by the fall, it'll get dry like it is right now. And that grass will be nice to lay in. There'll be height in here. This will be a great bedding area in the middle of the property, which will allow us to wait patiently around the edges of the property for them to come out and hit a scrape or a licking branch or something like that by one of our blinds, and we'll get a shot. So you can see a little cedar, white cedar seedling I threw in there. And it goes all the way down this line here, again, just to put a screen there, just to start breaking up sight lines, breaking up the property, so that mature buck is going to feel really comfortable moving around here. I am standing on our east line now, the access trail we used to get to this new blind. We just put that up last year. We're calling that our east blind. It's on our east property line, which is right here. Here's the trail. To the left, well, a few feet in there, but to the left is our neighbors. To the right is our stuff. But it's a little too open for me. Again, if I'm walking here, I'm on my access trail. It's too open for me there. So I planted through this whole line here for quite a ways. Cedars, because it's a little bit lower land here, so it's a little more wet. Yeah, like here's one right here. See, there's one right there. So through this whole ribbon here, all the way down through there, there are spots. Oh, look, rabbit hunters. And this is thick, kind of in here. Like, look how thick that is. And if you remember, this used to be about 20 poplars that were really, really tall, maybe 10 to 12 inches in diameter. There's just about 20 of them there. One winter, I cut them down, probably 3 or 4 years ago. And now look at this. Look at how thick that is. That is a great screen for me, because now if I'm walking through here, they can't see me. But I've got some open areas. We'll go down there and I'll show you that too. So we were just up there. You can see this is our east line again. To the left is our property. Pretty good screening down there is where those poplars were. But look at this. When I have to walk through here, look at this. It's so open right here. So what I've got to do is, and you can see it's wet in this area too. So I have planted some streamco willows in here a few years ago. And again, I'll show you, here's one right here. Let me get, right, see that? So there's a few of them in there, but oh, it's just taking so long. It drives me crazy. So I went through here again and planted more yesterday. I put some cedars in here so that we have a screen, a year-round screen going through here. And maybe they'll grow bigger, better, faster than these streamco willows. But there's a mix of all that I had to fill in here, and on the other side of this brush pile down there, same thing. So again, I'm just getting that screen all along our access trails so we can walk through here anytime and the deer will not be able to see us that are inside the property. This is the west line of our property. Going right down here to the left is not our property. To the right is our property. And last, oh gosh, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I planted these white spruce. But I don't know if you can see that right there, that ribbon that I cut down, and it keeps going to the north right there. That's where I cut a bunch of these Scotch pine down about 10 yards wide all the way around the property. And you can see that for a while, that would have been taller, because when you knock a brand new tree down, it's still got branches and it's really tall. So it was a great screen for me to walk up this line to a blind we have on the right side up there. But you can see the last 6-7 years, it has broken down now. And where most of the spots have grown enough regeneration through there that you can't see through it real well, but this spot did not. So now what used to be a great spot to come into a blind to go up this trail with great screening here, that screen has degraded, and now I'm kind of in a bad spot right now. So I have planted these white spruce here. A mistake I made, which I would not want you to make, is that I have always been trying to plant what I wanted to work on the property instead of working with what Mother Nature wants me to plant on the property. So I've tried blue spruce, Norway spruce, a bunch of different spruce trees, and I planted them all along this line, like a 1/4 acre all the way down there. And like the blue spruce and Norway spruce, they just don't catch. They just don't grow well. And so now I'm way behind, because they could have been growing if I had not fought with Mother Nature. Now I'm still trying these white spruce out. I don't know for sure how well they'll do. That's a couple years, it's doing pretty good. So I think they might be an answer. But this year I capitulated. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go with Mother Nature. And you can see what I did yesterday is planted a bunch of white pine seedlings. And you can see I got a ribbon of them going right down through here. And the reason I'm doing white pine is because I know that they grow on this property. If you look around, Mother Nature has made it very clear that white pine grow on this property. Now I don't want pines in my mind, because pines self-prune. And here's a perfect example right here. See how this trunk is all bare, but then it's got a top on it. That's a pine tree. It's not a white pine, but Scotch pine, but same thing. They self-prune themselves. That's not good English, but the branches fall off. And so when they get mature, the branches fall off the bottom. It's not a screen anymore, right? Like you can see all the way through there because there's no branches. But with spruce trees hold their branches all the way down to the bottom, even when they get mature and older. That's why you want spruce trees to grow on your property, so you always have a screen. So I'm just showing you this here so you can see what a problem this is. Like here's the blind right here, right? Used to have a great screen right here with all this dead stuff right here. See that? It was higher, it was a great screen, but gosh, look now. Like when I walk through here, it's wide open. You can see right through to the water hole right there, and you can see all the way out into the food plot right there. I am not screened at all in this spot. And so again, that's why I'm not fighting Mother Nature anymore. Go with white pine, Mark. And so I'll get, 15, 20 years out of white pine being a good screen tree? Okay, here's a perfect example. This is a white pine right here. You know, that pine, that is probably, 15 years old? And you can see it still has branches down low. So they'll be a screen for a while. But when they get older, those branches will start falling down. And then it'll get up to here, and then the deer will be able to see you. But I've given up. I think what I'll just do is I'm going to go with white pine. They should grow fine. They're a little close together. I think only 6 feet. So when they grow up, I'll get 15, 20 years out of it maybe. God willing, I'm still alive. And then go through and cut them and plant them again or something. So that is a big part. And I plant them all the way down. I don't know if you can see, there's this all the way down to there. So this whole line now has a whole ribbon of white pine all the way around it, because I walk from the driveway there towards us here and into the blind. So hopefully in a few years, there'll be a really good screen. So that was one of the tree plantings for this year. This is how most of the property responded to cutting that ribbon of trees down. You can see to the left here, you know, right over there is the open field, the farm field, my west line. I left a little ribbon of trees there, cut down about 10 yards, and then you can see another line that I left them up. But this ribbon right here, you can see how thick this one is. Like, there's nothing I need to do to thicken that up so that I can, and actually I'm going to walk you right over here too. Okay, so now Now I'm walking over to our travel, the human path, the one that we take to get up to our blinds. You know, we're just right here. So if you walk up this trail and then look to the right here, like you can see how that is thick. You cannot see through that. So if deer are bedded like over on the other side of that, and we got the wind going this way, we can walk right up here quietly. They can be bedded 20 yards in there and they'll never know we're here. Where back at the other blind, you know, at the other, you know, just down there a little ways, it just didn't respond. So I do not have to plant more trees for screening on this part. But I hope all that was worth some of your time. Use trees and shrubs to screen every one of your access trails. And then keep reevaluating them every year. Take a walk along them just to make sure that you're paying attention, because sometimes it sneaks up on you. Like that west line over there, that kind of snuck up on me. I didn't realize how bad that was. But once I saw it, it's like, oh my gosh. And so, you know, you got to order the trees and get it screened. Or some guys are using switchgrass, which is cool. Switchgrass is good too. But you can use anything, right? Or maybe you got good enough, thick enough spot where you can cut some poplars down. It won't cost you a penny. You don't have to plant anything. Just cut the poplars down in the wintertime. A few years it'll be so thick it'll be a great screen. So there's a lot of ways to do screening. Evaluate what works best for you, and if you got questions about it, just throw in the comments below. Thanks for watching.